Hey guys, it's Austin with OutJeeping. In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to replace your old saggy headliner in your Jeep Cherokee. Now in this video, I'm going to be showing how to do it on my friend's 2000 two-door Cherokee, but it's going to be similar for lots of other vehicles too. Alright, so for some things that you're going to need for getting this headliner job done is you're going to need some adhesive. Now I recommend this 3M Super 77. It seems to work the best and it's really sticky. We're going to end up using about 1.5 cans, so I would go and buy about 2 cans. I think they're only about 10 bucks a can. Next, you're going to need some headliner material, and I got about 3 yards of this flannel fleece right here. The reason why I got fleece is because it's nice and stretchy. You can use normal automotive headliner material. That works just fine, but this seems to be cheaper and it's kind of a cool design. I actually got this at Joann Fabrics, and as you know, they probably have thousands of designs that you can pick out yourself. Alright, so we're going to get started on removing the old headliner board. And to do that, we got to take out all the trim that's around on the perimeter holding it in. And when we take it out, we want to be extra careful that we don't rip it or bend it at all because it's just fiberglass. Alright, so now we're in the Jeep here. As you can see, the previous owner actually took the headliner material out, and now we're just left with this icky glue and foam. And as you can see, if you just touch it, a bunch of crap just falls from the ceiling. So it's about time that we replace this headliner. So I'm going to start by taking off all the things that are holding it down. I'm going to start up front on the front of the vehicle, and basically we're going to remove these sun visors. And to do that, we got a little clip here, and then we got 3 screws over here. And since this Jeep is a SE version, basically it's a low budget, so they don't even have like things like the mirror that most Jeeps do. So you won't actually have a electrical connection over here, but if you do have a mirror, you will have one over here. To take this off, we're simply just going to use a flathead screwdriver. Alright, once you get that, put it in a safe spot. I'm just going to put it in the cup holder, and then we can get the other side. Alright, and it comes out just like that. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to work on is getting these grab handles off. And they just got a little cap that goes over it. And then you're going to need a T25 Torx to remove these screws. Then we can do this side. And then the handle's just going to pull out like that. Alright, so now I'm going to do the same thing to the other side, remove the driver's side sun visor, and then remove the 2 handles that are in the back. Alright, so another thing that we're going to have to remove is obviously the dome light. Now, since this is the SE version, the front dome light's just going to be a simple little light like this. Now, if you got like a sport or a classic model, a lot of the times you're just going to have the normal rectangle type dome light where you have 2 clickers on each side with the normal light in the middle. And then if you have a limited or a classic, you might have the big overhead console that goes all the way through to the back seat. Basically, they all come out a little bit differently. They just got a couple screws here and there, but basically you got to remove that, and then it should just leave a wire and then a hole in the headliner. But if you have an SE version, to get this dome light out, basically just take a screwdriver. You want to pry in between the lens and the housing. Just want to pop that down, and then you should be able to pull this side. Kind of like has a hook on the back side that keeps it on the back side of the headliner, and then it should pop like that. And then the next thing you got to do is just remove your wire connection. Alright, so you have to remove this little piece right here. It just has 2 clips on it, and then you have room to access the connector to be able to undo the wire connection like that. Alright, so now I'm going to remove the rear dome light. Basically, this guy just pops out of place, and then you have another connector right here, and then you can undo the wire. Next thing we have is the rear speakers. Basically, they just have this cover. If you get behind it, you can pop it off. Then you should have your speakers. Now from factory, they just have 2 Torx holding them in, and then on the back side they should have a wire connection. Now these right here should be a T20. Then along the side we have this little clip you can pull back, and then you can undo the wire connection. Now I'm going to do the same thing on the other side. So now the last thing we have to do before we remove the trim that's all the way around the headliner is remove these seat belt brackets. Now right here, this bolt is going to be a T47. It should come out like that. That should come out like that. Then you just have to do the other side the same way. Alright, so now we can start disassembling the trim panels that still hold in the headliner. We start with this back panel right here. We just got 6 Phillips screws. So we got one over here. Alright, then there should just be 2 clips holding it in, so you just gotta get behind it and pull down. Yeah, sometimes you get unlucky. If the plastic's all brittle, it'll actually just tear off from this plastic. But it's not a big deal if you have screws to screw in this panel. So for this trim panel right here, we simply have a couple screws holding it in place. Now, since this is the 2-door version of the Cherokee, this piece is all long and goes all the way up to the front section. If you have a 4-door, this piece is going to be much shorter. It's probably going to end right here. Then you'll have another separate plastic piece right here. It all goes together pretty self-explanatory, so it's nothing too difficult. Alright, now we can do the same thing on the other side. Now this middle screw right here actually won't come out all the way because it has a little plastic spacer. That way it doesn't crimp too much when you tighten it down. Now we should be able to remove this corner piece right here. Now it's going to have a little split right here. That way you can get this shock out of the way. Seems to be some clips holding that in place still. Alright, so the very last thing we have to remove is just these front trim pieces right here. And to remove them, they're just going to be, clipped in on the back side. If you have brittle plastic, they're probably going to break at the plastic piece. And the clip might still be in with the metal, unfortunately. So there's no real good technique. You just got to find a spot and pry gently and try not to snap any plastic. And I think because they are underneath the front dashboard part over here, we're just going to leave them hang like that. And make sure you don't hit it, you don't want to crack it over there. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Now they got little clips on these sides that help keep it up. You just want to make sure you get it out from underneath it. Alright, so we got the headliner out, and I just have it laying on the floor right for now. And the next thing we have to do is remove all of this glue and all the foam, whatever. We just want to get down to the fiberglass board like that. Best way I found out how to do it is just use a plastic brush like this. Rub it. Right. As you can see, it comes right off. And I noticed with this foam, if it's a more darker color, it's the easier it's going to fall off. As you can see over here where the visors were, it's a little bit lighter and it's actually kind of tougher to get off, so you might have to scrub that even more. Now if you have a lot of this lighter color foam still on there, that means it's, you know, better. Another way you can get it off is actually using a wire brush on a drill. The thing with that is just you want to be very careful with it because it can actually damage this board pretty good. I've done that on my last project and it seemed to work out good. But for this, all I'm going to do is just use this plastic brush. I'm going to try to get all the surface area on this, and then I'm just going to vacuum it up because it is going to create a mess. Alright, so I went and got the whole board all nice and clean. You want to make sure there's absolutely no dust particles or anything on that. You want basically just to have this fiberglass board and have everything off so that we're ready to put the new headliner material on. So when putting the new headliner material on, it's a good idea to have another partner with you. That way they can get one side while you're on the other side. That way it helps prevent getting any wrinkles in the headliner so you get the best results. Alright, to start out, I'm just going to be taking our material and I'm going to lay it all the way across the board. Now I got 3 yards here, and you probably only need 2 to cover the whole entire board. But I got that extra yard because I'm actually going to be doing the visors along with the headliner. So you want most of the excess, if you have some, just sticking out on one side. Now with this certain material, it's diagonal, so you don't have to line it up exactly perfect, but most of the time if you do plaid, it's just going to be straight, you know, with the material, but this is all diagonal. Alright, so we've got this all laid out. Basically want a couple inches on the long sides just sticking out. So the way we're going to glue this is we're going to do it like in 4 different sections. We're going to start off, you know, one section here, one section here, and then we'll do one section here, then one section down there. That way, if we just do a couple at a time, we can control it more, won't have any wrinkles, and it should all turn out nicely. Alright, so I got the headliner material folded back about halfway, and now I'm just going to spray the glue down on both the headliner and the board. That way it gets better adhesion. So I'm going to put a lot of glue down. Alright, so now I can get a partner on the other side to help you with this. We want to lay it on here. We want to make sure there's no wrinkles, so start off nice and slow. A good idea is to start from the middle and work your way out. Alright, so once we get that first quarter section done, we can fold this back once more and then apply the glue to this last quarter section on this side. Alright, now I can lay this last section down. You want to be very careful around the speaker area. You want to go very slow, that way you won't get any wrinkles. Alright, so once the headliner is all glued on, I put it on a set of sawhorses. That way I can work on trimming the edges. So basically what I'm going to do, as you can see here, you got a lot of extra. So I'm just going to cut a few inches from the edge, and then I'll take a little bit of glue and I'm just going to fold it over and glue it to the back side. And I'm going to do that all the way around on the perimeter. And then when I get to little holes where like either a screw or a light's going to go, for these little ones I'll just poke a hole in them. But on the bigger ones like the speakers, I'll cut an X into it. And then I'll take the excess material and then I'll fold it back. That way it should create a nice clean opening. Alright, so I got it all trimmed. Now I'm just going to take some glue and then glue both sides. Alright, so now with all these holes, I'm just going to put an X on here, and my hand on the bottom, that way it doesn't pull off. Help if I have a sharp blade. Then you want to take the line all the way to the edge. Alright, so once you get that X in there, we can take a little bit of glue, on the back side. Alright, so after that has tacked up for a little bit, we can just take these and then push them back like that. If you haven't got to the corners all the way, take a knife, help you out a little bit. Alright, so it's going to look like that on the back side, and then it should look nice and clean on the front side. We're going to do that to all of the holes. And then for the little holes that hold the sun visors up, all we're going to do is just put a little slit in there. That way we should be able to fit the screw in nicely. Alright, so this headliner is all done. It's ready to be put back into the Jeep. I got all the holes notched out. And don't forget the little holes that have to go for the clip on the speaker cover. Basically just take a razor blade, stick it in there, and it should open up the hole just fine. And then also don't forget your seatbelt holes down here. Those are often forgotten about. Basically you just got to put a slit in either of those, and then you should be fine on installing it back in. Then along up here I got a couple slits for the sun visor, and then the triangle holes in the corner. So now I'm going to put it back in the Jeep. Alright, so now we're just basically going to put all the trim pieces back in the way we found them. That way it should help hold the headliner up. Now for this light, we just got our electrical connection. Then we can take this and feed it back into the hole. And when you push this in here, it should snap into place like that. So now we can reinstall our speakers, connect our electrical connection, feed this up into here. Now, the screw holes are not going to be visible, so you might have to screw into the material a little bit just to create that existing hole, but you can kind of feel it on the back side on where it would be. So once you find the holes, just tighten it down. Then we can take our cover and then we can line these little clips in where we made the slits for the holes. Might be a little bit difficult, but you just gotta push it all in there. There. So now we can take our handles and put them back in. Make sure they go the right way. You want them, facing up instead of down. Otherwise, you're going to be hitting your head every time you get in the car. And then we got these little clips that hold in the sun visor. Alright guys, that's it. I put everything back together except for the sun visors because I'm actually going to wrap that in some new headliner material also. But that's going to be for another time in the next video. So stay tuned for that one. So I'll just give a quick overview of the final product. And it is looking really good. So as you can see, it wasn't too hard of a job, just very time consuming. But the end result is awesome. So make sure you stay tuned for the next video on how I do the visors. That should be pretty interesting. And make sure to like and subscribe to the OutJeeping YouTube channel to help keep these videos coming. And comment below if you have any questions. So I hope you guys learned something. I'll see you guys in the next video.